Hi, this is Ruby Powers, board certified immigration attorney with Powers Law Group here in Houston, Texas. We have offices in Hackensack, New Jersey. I'm here talking to you about the deadline to reunite the children that have been separated at the border under zero tolerance policy, and also about my recent trip to the border to reunify my client with her son. So it's July 27th, and the deadline was yesterday at midnight Pacific time, and we will be finding out whether or not they met it. The numbers that we have from yesterday afternoon were that around the 251 kids, so imagine that number, about maybe half or so had been reunited. That was the 1,442 had been reunited. Now, so the ones that had not been reunited, they deemed 700 ineligible. But I know for a fact that there are some that have not been reunified and they are eligible. I know that from cases that I've seen and I've talked to with other volunteer attorneys. So I'm very curious as to what's going to happen today. There should be a status check with Judge Sabro in California later on, and looking at the numbers that were accomplished by the end of midnight Pacific time yesterday. And of those 700 that they deemed ineligible for reunification, 430 of those parents had been deported already. So there are 430 children in the United States who were separated and their parents were deported. So we're going to find out what's going to happen later on today. The judge is going to review the notes. I want to talk a little bit about my trip. So the reason why I haven't been on Facebook Live a lot, because I've been traveling a lot this last month, and I'm grateful to Nadia and Cynthia for doing a lot of our Facebook Lives the last few weeks. I went down 4 weeks ago to volunteer at Port Isabel, which is really close to South Padre Island, and there's a large detention facility that we had previously done a pro bono. So I was very familiar with that detention facility. Well, at that place, I had volunteered, and I talked to 11 parents on one day. It was June 26th, I remember, because that was the day the injunction was announced. But I didn't know until I got out of the detention, because you're not allowed to have your phone and your watch and a lot of jewelry and a lot of things. So I wasn't really aware about what was happening. The next day, with good news, I did meet with a few other parents, and there was a lot of movement because the government had 1 month to reunify nearly 3,000 children. The first 2 weeks, remember, it was about 103 kids. They were under 5 that had to be reunited. There was a mother with a 5-month-old that had been separated from her. She later was reunited within the 2-week deadline. I'm very grateful to that. But they didn't meet the deadline of those tender age kids. And then they had another 2 weeks, a whole month in total to reunify all the children 5 and right under 18 years old. Well, in my opinion, they did not meet it, because I'm sure if you were to look at these numbers and more thoroughly, you'd find out that I believe they deemed some parents ineligible when they really were eligible, and it might have just been an inconvenience to have to reunify them. So we'll be finding out soon. But basically, I went to the border 2 times in a month ago, and then I sent Cynthia Milian, our associate that speaks Spanish and does a lot of our court work, went down 2 weeks after I did and worked on some pro bono cases as well. And then I went back this week. We have a client that was getting released on Tuesday, so I had to move my flight because I was planning to be there Wednesday and Thursday, and I flew down on Tuesday night, and she was released right when I landed. I had a volunteer had picked her up, and we were reunited, just her attorney and my client, not her child. We thought her child was going to be there to be reunited, but he wasn't. So I worked with her over the last week to get reunified, and there was a lot of ups and downs, but in the end, he arrived at the McAllen Airport around midnight last night, and I was there when my client got to see her son for the first time in nearly 2 months that they had been separated. It's been a long week. I've been in the Valley. I was volunteering at Port Isabel. I was working with the client. I was working to reunify them, and also helping out with media just to let people know what's been going on the ground. There were some interviews with CNN and NPR, All Things Considered, and a lot of other Great journalists have been contacting me about what I've been seeing, and so I've been grateful to them to be able to share the stories of those who I've been talking to. So in the end, our client was reunited, and they're on their way to where they're going to stay in the United States, and we're very happy about that. But I saw firsthand the challenges that a person would have once they're released and hopefully reunited. Many people don't have a cell phone. They don't have any money. They don't have any new clothes. They might only have the clothes that they entered in when they were traveling here. They don't know how things are done in the United States. They might not know things about seat belts, booster seats, or some laws and just cultural things that we do. I've lived in 6 countries. I understand what it's like to live in a new country. There's a lot of unspoken rules about things, but really we realize that someone needs to help teach you how things are. So that's why a group with immigrant families together and our law firm and other volunteers, we've created a website called ayudafamilias.org. ayudafamilias.org. That's AYUDA. Familias, it's FAMILIAS.org. It's a place where people can post what they are able to donate, what there's a need, whether it's medical care, translation, legal care, legal help, some type of help in some of that respect. And that is a place that we're going to try to help connect people for all these different services to help try to make people whole after all of the turmoil that they've had to experience this last nearly nearly 3 months. We know that the children and the parents are traumatized. It will take a while to try to overcome. Many won't be able to overcome this in just a couple of days. They're going to be in phases of this. And that's where we see right now. I mean, right now we're dealing with the reunifications, which are not over. And then some who have been reunified are working on trying to build a life while they're working on, which is the next phase, the legal component. Many people are searching out for help. They need pro bono care or competent legal counsel. And that's what I'm going to ask a lot of my colleagues to try to take 1 or 2 cases so that we can try to help people. But that's also another chance where people could be taken advantage of, and that's why they need to understand who is out there and who's experienced and who's there to help them. So, the law firm's really taken this, I think this to a whole nother level in terms of advocacy, because we feel that this zero tolerance policy was wrong. And whether you care about people as a mother, a father, a parent, a human being, or whatever, I believe that we need to do our best to help these people and to try to put them back together again. So I flew back into Houston this morning, so I've had not a lot of sleep, but this is continuing to be the discussion, and I just basically want to say it's not over yet. It wasn't over yesterday. It's not going to be over today. So we need people to volunteer. We need people to stay active and let you know that there's a lot of need out there. So this website, ayudafamilias.org, and you can also keep watching our website, Powers Law, Ruby Powers Law, rubypowerslaw.com, and we'll keep posting lots of different opportunities for people to stay involved and get connected. I think that's a lot of what I wanted to say today. If somebody just want to let you, if you have a immediate inquiry, you can give us a call at our office in Houston. If you want a Know Your Rights presentation to your community, if you want, we do it in lots of languages, or we'll work with you on weekends or evenings. We have a lineup of a lot of presentations coming up later this fall. Give us a call. Our number is 713-589-2085. And remember, we have offices in Houston and Northern New Jersey, which our office in New Jersey is 201-210-8240. 201-210-8240. And because immigration's federal, we're able to help people all around the U.S. and the world on U.S. immigration matters. And so we're just thank you for listening. This is what's been going on. Thanks for staying connected. And if you're a client, or if you're someone who wants to be up to date on what's going on in immigration news, sign up for our newsletter. You can find out a way on our website, and we send that out every other week in English and Spanish, and we want to keep people posted with what's going on. Thanks so much for your attention. Have a great weekend.